Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of ILEETA Live. I'm Brian Hill. Joe Willis and Todd Fletcher are here, and we have another jam-packed ILEETA Live for you guys tonight. Before we get started, Joe, how many more days until the ILEETA conference next year?
I cheated and I looked, but I know it's less than 6 months exactly.
Wow. Less than 6 months. Todd, do you know?
Not a clue. No, I'm not good at math.
I believe we're at 179 days until ILEETA 2026. 179 days. So it will be here before you know it.
That's
definitely.
Are you it's going ready? Fast? Going really fast.
Going fast. Joe, we have how many proposals for the conference already submitted?
Yeah, so we've got 77 proposals and they are coming in full spectrum. So at this point, we are ahead of any year prior or since 2020 as far as the number we've received by this date. And the spectrum in which we're getting them, I'm super, super impressed by. So we're getting more firearms. We've been looking for those long gun classes, the shotgun rifle types, because we have more range capabilities this year. So looking forward to that. Really want to see more technology, and it's starting to come in. I can tell you, I don't want to tip the hand or give anybody an indication that they may have been pre-selected, because we're certainly not going to do that. But I'm seeing some really cool, innovative stuff this year regarding AI and the use of it for training, things that we had dabbled in previously. But man, it's really cool watching all this come together this year.
Is there going to be a lot more bring your own device type classes? Do you anticipate that? Because I think that's a great way of doing a lot of this.
There is. When we do that, though, Todd, I'm glad you mentioned that. So we have the challenge of Wi-Fi capability at the hotel. And so if we do it, we need to communicate clearly with the members who are attending that cellular devices typically do work. Wi-Fi gets kind of spotty down there in the conference areas unless the instructor is willing to pay for it, because it gets a bit expensive. And so there's some challenges, but I do see that happening. I think we're at the point where we can make it happen on cellular.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that AI technology, that's the wave of the future, and we got to get ahead of it.
You also mentioned earlier something about the Vendor Expo and some exciting news about the Vendor Expo and maybe some sponsorship opportunities. And how those are going.
Yeah, so Jill asked us to put out to everybody. Jill Johannix is the Director of Business Development for ILEETA. She's kind of taken over from Mary Grace. Mary Grace is still working with us behind the scenes. Don't tell anybody; it's a big secret. But the what we're seeing right now, first of all, the booths are filling up. So all of those high traffic ones in the 200 and 400 areas are filling up. And a large part of that has to do with this is our first year of being 100% online. So vendors are now able to go in and completely manage their own registration online, where in the past you used to have to do it with hard copy paper, and there was a little bit more back and forth with emails and that kind of thing. So there's that. Also, we're seeing the sponsors filling up. So I think it's too early to talk about specifically where some folks are going to go, but I can tell you we have new sponsors this year. Sponsors who have been with us forever there's one, I'm super excited to see how this goes, is changing their role drastically in what they've sponsored. I'm not going to tell you who it is just yet. Just know that they're taking a step in a new direction and kind of opening some things up. So we're super excited. That should be announced either later this month, early next. But yeah, sponsorship opportunities still exist. There still are some chances, but the big things are filling. Tuesday night is completely full. For the first time ever, we have 3 sponsors for that event now. So yeah, some great stuff there.
That's cool.
That is very cool. Thanks for the little teaser there.
Yeah,
hey, folks, if you've changed agencies, if you went somewhere else, make sure you contact the ILEETA office and update your information. It's critical that we have your contact information current with us so we can send our correspondence to the right location, the right spot, the right email, the right address to make sure that you are a valued member. So make sure you do that. And Jenny is the one that does all that stuff. So there's her email at the bottom of the screen, her phone number. give the ILEETA office a call, and heck, just give her a call and say, hey, how you doing? I'm sure she would love to hear how everybody is doing in ILEETA world. So.
Hey, Brian, what about membership types? So we've got different types of memberships. You can be a member for a year, 3 years, that kind of thing. What about an agency who has several members? What's an option available to them?
Well, there's tons of options, and I think Jenny would be the ultimate person to contact. You have bulk agency. What am I looking for?
Bundle memberships. The one you're thinking
Yeah,
of.
there you go. So you can get a bunch of instructors from your agency enrolled with ILEETA, and there you go. So you are all set. But hey, Jenny is the one to talk to for that information. So she's the expert. And if you just want a one membership or one instructor or 10, 20, 30 memberships for your agency, give her a call. She can hook you up. And we want you as a member. We want you to get the best bang for your buck. And Jenny's the one to talk to.
I think those bundle memberships are a great deal. I think, was it 3 or more people can bundle together and at one agency or one department and get a discount on their membership. That's a fantastic way of doing it, and way more convenient.
Yeah. So the advantage to it financially is you don't pay the new member registration every time, right? So it is the standard rate from 1 year to the next. So that $45 renewal rate, but you also have the ability to switch out. So say, Joe's been working and training for a while and he goes back out to the street. Well, now Todd steps in and we can put Todd into that position without going through the whole process all over again, paying additional rates. And so it's super convenient that way. It's great for facilities that have multiple adjunct instructors that come and go. And so, again, talk to Jenny. She's the one who can tell you all the details on that, but send her an email or give her a call. She'd love to have the conversation with you.
Super cool.
Something else to think about is today is September 17th. Oh, hey, it's my mom's birthday. I forgot to give her a call. So, Mom, if you're watching, happy birthday.
My son.
But hey, yeah, September 17th and October 31st is just around the corner. And I think that's a significant date for something, not just Halloween, but that is the deadline for the ILEETA 2026 instructor proposals. So one of the things that is a benefit to the instructors, if you are selected to teach at the ILEETA conference, your tuition is paid for that that conference. So you still have to get yourself to the conference and pay for the hotel and everything, but you don't have to pay the fees for the attendance of the conference. So huge benefit. So if you're on the fence, if you don't know what you would like to talk about, but if you have something that you think would be of value to instructors, hey, we're all here to help you get your name out there and teach a class at the ILEETA conference. So just reach out to any of us and we will definitely help you. Reach out to Jenny and she can put you in touch with somebody that has some expertise in whatever you teach: firearms, defensive tactics, arrest control, driving, whatever. We can help you out. So definitely reach out.
Absolutely. I think that December 31st is also the deadline for the early bird special. So for the first time, we're doing a $399 special for the conference tuition, which, pretty significant savings. And that ends on October 31st. Additionally, this is different than the bundle membership, but if your agency is going to send 5 or more people to the conference, everyone goes for $399. There is no $440 price point for that. So send your 5 people and you basically get 1 for free. And so, great opportunity to get an entire staff. And as you all know, when you go to the ILEETA conference, the 3 of us will go different directions and then meet up at night and kind of compare notes. Send your 5 people. It'll be worth it.
Absolutely. And somebody asked me about the scholarships. Joe, can you, what about the scholarships? Can you talk to us about that?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, so scholarships open on September 1st and will remain open until December 31st this year. And so we will make an announcement as soon in January as we can. We're kind of evaluating them as they come in and kind of taking a look at things. Our goal is to be able to clearly communicate to scholarship awardees as early as possible so they can get their tickets, kind of keep to the prices that they initially, put in for their scholarship at. So, so December 31st scholarship cutoff. If you go to ILEETA.org/scholarship or under the conference tab, so you've got conference up there in the menu, drop down to 26, go over scholarship. And if you, for any reason, are a public sector employee and an active ILEETA member in good standing, and you have a financial need that you want to attend the conference, but finances are some sort of barrier for you, just communicate with us. We've got the funds available for some scholarships, and we really want to help take care of folks and get them to the conference. And if I'm not mistaken, there's at least one scholarship kid here with us tonight, right? Yeah. So Todd Fletcher came in on a scholarship and has basically now he's emceeing Emerson Hour, is on the advisory board. And so there are several scholarship members who have really done some great things with this organization. We're super proud of them and all the great things they've done.
And me.
Many years ago, Brian Willis gave me a scholarship as well. So thank you, Brian Willis. Hey, this is September, and September is Suicide Awareness Month. So we want to make sure that we plug that. A lot of our vendors at the expo are very passionate about suicide awareness. So we get several vendors every year that are in that realm, in the realm of helping you speak to others about suicide awareness and getting you the help that maybe you can give to somebody else or yourself. So I will listen. I will talk. If you ever need anytime, day or night, middle night, you can give me a call. I know you can give Joe a call. You can give Todd a call. But we are all here for you. So if there's something that is bothering you on your mind and you just need to talk, all three of us will listen. So I just want to put that out there. This is an important month. Every month should be Suicide Awareness Month, but September is designated as that time. And also, earlier today, we've had 5 law enforcement officers that were shot. 3 of those were killed in Pennsylvania. So just want to take a moment to give a moment of silence for those officers and those families and all the extended family, the law enforcement family that are dealing with this tragic event in Pennsylvania. Thank you, folks. Well, it's time to bring on our guests. So I know Joe and Todd have been talking about firearms, and tonight we are going to talk about firearms. We got 2 great guests that are experts in the firearms world, and we'll bring them on, and they will we'll have them tell you about them. Just one second here. And
I feel like we're shuffling the coconut shells or something here.
We are. It's like a Vegas game, isn't it?
This is our prize?
Sorry.
The best layout here. So here's what I want to do. Just like every ILEETA Live, we have the guests tell us about themselves. So we have Josh Logan. And Josh, please, for those that do not know who Josh is, for our members, who is Josh Logan? Give us a little rundown of who you are, what you do, and why you became a member of ILEETA.
Sure. Yeah. Josh Logan, co-founder of Guardian Train Consulting. Started my journey when in the Air Force. I wanted to be an F-15 pilot and realized I suck hardcore at math. So I joined the United States Air Force to go see the world. Want to go to exotic Europe and Asia, and got sent to Minot, North Dakota. If you don't know where that's at, it's not exotic.
Not Asia or Europe.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a little more exotic than Minot, North Dakota. But so yeah, I went up there as a blessing in disguise. I did nuclear weapons transports for 4 years. So backseat of a helicopter, M4 with a 203. Next to me was a 249 SAW, 240 Bravo, and a M107. Had a great time up there, great training, and got out and joined the city of Minot, North Dakota Police Department. 60 sworn officers. Did that for a couple years. 70 below zero was my coldest day on the job, and finally got back to Arizona and became a Chandler police officer for the city of Chandler Police Department, suburb of Phoenix. About 350 sworn at the time. So I did 17 total years in law enforcement. My entire career, I kind of did three food groups. I worked gang members, dope, and guns. So I liked people who had face tattoos, who made poor life decisions, and liked to shoot each other. So that was my job, and became a firearms instructor for the NRA civilian division, and worked as a civilian firearms instructor, and then became a law enforcement firearms instructor, and then fast forward, active shooter instructor, all the rigmarole, all that. Fast forward my career, kind of checked every box. I went, got into a lawsuit, use of force incident, got divorced. I checked kind of every law enforcement box, like lost a third of my pension, was a Conway Twitty song for a while. Short, had that, all that to the point where, I had a moment where I thought about, talking about suicide, thought about committing suicide. And it was my now wife, Karen, who's also my co-founder, saving my life that night. And so my wife, 11 years with the Chicago Police Department, and then 11 years with the Air Marshal Service. So I, definitely, lack of better terms, married up. So fast forward to my career, I decided to, in 2020, get married to Karen, started guarding in 2018 while I was still a cop. And then about 2 weeks later, I decided to make the jump and retire early from the police department and be 100% full-time entrepreneur. So now I own Guardian Train Consulting, and then travel the country now. Like I'm in Houston right now at a conference teaching. That's why my voice is a little hoarse. I've been teaching for 2 straight days. And so now I do expert witness testimony as well, Force Science certified analyst. So really, really big into Force Sciences teachings. And now, again, travel the country and do what I do. So I literally get to play guns all day, that lack of better terms, and happier than I've ever been in my entire life. So that's a little bit about me.
Nice. Thanks, Josh. Zach Stewart. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, wow. So I work for the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office in Bend, Oregon. I've been here for about 28 years. I've been involved in training, all aspects of our training for the past a little over 20 of those years, teaching firearms and every other survival skill you can really think of. I currently manage our training unit. It's me, 2 deputies, and 1 admin assistant, and we have about 190 sworn staff on average. Been a member of SWAT since 2008, so I do a lot of training with and for them. One of the team leaders on that team. And I've been married 25 years. I have got 2 wonderful kids and 2 awesome grandkids. Been with ILEETA for the past 5 years. Probably one of the better things I've done as an instructor during my time is join ILEETA and start going to the conferences and making all of those connections, finding people who have similar goals and similar viewpoints that can also challenge mine, and start learning from those people. And it's been a great experience.
Well, thanks, Zach. Before we dive into this, I think we kind of got your why you joined, Zach. But Josh, why did you join ILEETA?
Yeah, sorry, undiagnosed, unmedicated ADHD.
I'll give it. Once you say why you joined ILEETA, we'll play a little video of why ILEETA. But why ILEETA?
Sure. So I've got so many good people in my life. I've, lack of better terms, I've stood on the shoulders of giants, and all of those giants, to include, Bill Campbell, met Todd at another conference, Luann Hamlin, all these, I don't mean to name drop, but it's truly the giants of this industry that are moving the needle of law enforcement training. That to be a part of that. So that's why I joined, is the networking aspect, and then having the ability to meet these folks and learn from these folks directly was huge for me. And then having the honor to teach, that was huge for me as well. But and there's the networking and private sector aspect that's huge. And with Joe and Ray's leadership is huge. But the big one was learning from the stalwarts, the big fish of the industry was the main thing.
Nice. Thank you very much for that. I just want to queue up this video here, and then we'll dive back into our I lost the video.
The fundamental
Go ahead, Brian.
The fundamental philosophies and principles of the organization have stayed consistent since the start. It's about the membership. It's about us facilitating training that's going to raise the bar for the profession as a whole, facilitate that learning and that growth for people in the profession that are interested in what can we do to do a better job to prepare our people for the complexities and the challenges of the profession that they're in. We're an association that's committed to trainers and to training that also happens to run a world-class conference.
We have an entirely packed schedule over the course of a week. Every night at ILEETA is designed to get trainers to connect to each other and to the industries that support training and law enforcement.
And the environment here, and Ed was very intentional about creating this culture where it's a culture of peers. It should be on your bucket list of things to come. Once you've been here once, then you'll understand what all the buzz is about.
ILEETA is more than a conference.
It's not just sharing of academic theories, it's practical application for that research and that information. It's important to have a connection with like-minded people who are going through the same struggles, have been through the same struggles, knowing that you're not alone and that you have people that you can reach out to is something that a lot of trainers need.
This conference will always be the cornerstone. This conference will always be the pilgrimage that trainers take every year to find one another.
So just that connection is a critical component and an important piece of being part of this community of trainers, which is what it is.
Hey, sorry about that. I heard you say I lost the video. I was like, I'll play it for him. And then I think I undid it for you.
All good, Joe. It's all good. Todd, let's start off with you. What kind of what questions, comments do you have for Zach or Josh?
Well, I want to ask both of you kind of a similar question. What is it that you guys are currently doing to kind of change the dynamic or change the law enforcement firearms training space? Because both of you guys are known to me as innovators. You're known to your colleagues as innovators. What are you currently doing to kind of push forward the training that we're giving to our people?
Well, here in Deschutes County, I really work on the way we develop our instructors and help them to understand that, just as all of us know, ego is the enemy of good instruction. And putting the ownership back on the deputies and giving them the tools and abilities to evaluate themselves and solve some of their own problems. We also are really working on taking range training and coupling that with some scenario training, and so we can improve the performance of deputies in gunfights as a whole. And that's kind of been our focus the last few years.
Yeah, one of the things that I want you to kind of dig a little deeper in on this is, and because I know a little bit about what you're doing, is the difference between skills training and gunfighting training. And where are you kind of going? Where are you, and where do you plan on taking that concept?
Right now, we're really still working on getting out of, and it's taken years, getting out of standard range training with everybody standing on the line, running drills that the instructor tells them what to do every step of the way. And we're really working on decision making on the range, especially improving our speed in these skills that we control, because you can only pull a trigger so fast. So we really work on some of those speeds, and we're taking it into live fire, force on force, not scenario training. It's still range training, but it's force on force training, where you have very few rules and very little context. It is just gunfighting, use of cover, and things like that.
I find that where we need to go. I love that concept. And Josh, we're here down in Houston at the ILEETA annual training conference, and you were on the range training, teaching all day, presenting your shooting at the speed of efficiency. And so that I know that's part of what you're doing, but talk about that a little bit and where you're planning on taking some of those other concepts in the future.
Sure. So shooting and speed efficiency, the question I always ask that, at the beginning of that class is, in a gunfight, would you rather be fast or accurate? And the answer is yes, or both, whatever that case may be. But how do we take and create processes, how professional athletes learn? That's the big thing that I'm really big into is, talking about force science, working, not working with force science, but taking those force science perspectives, understanding adult learning. I can't wait to take your class, by the way, tomorrow. That's gonna be fun. Taking the adult learning prospects and not theories, but let's just call them theories, and create that. I like siloed training. So let's work on different skill sets and principles, and then slowly bring those together. So shooting speed efficiency is shooting slower to shooting fast, drawing slower to drawing fast, and then bringing both together, so that we have that skill set to create a level of what we call automaticity. That's the goal. So then that's the shooting part, right? Creating a symbiotic relationship with a gunpowder activated hole poking device. That's one aspect. And then the decision making, we're really big into simulation right now, working with different simulator companies, and not just, putting law enforcement officers, but citizens in that as well. We're creating that holistic approach. That's really the goal. And then the knowledge transfer of knowing, case law and different legalities, so that we really protect the officer kind of in three ways. One, we keep them physically safe to give them the skill set to survive the fight, to go home at night. Two, to protect them legally so that they don't end up in prison or criminally charged. And three, to protect them financially so that when they make those right decisions, the likelihood of a successful lawsuit or settlement is mitigated, right? We call it the big L word, the liability. That's our goal. So we want to create a holistic approach on that end, not just, banging triggers, which don't get me wrong, I love it, but it has to have context to it.
Oh, Joe, you're muted.
So, hey, as we progress forward, thank you. I was doing some clicking here as I was typing. Looking towards the future and watching the evolution of firearms training over the last decade, and knowing how quickly things are progressing as far as simulation, as Josh, you mentioned, but Zach, as you've been talking about kind of taking things into the future, kind of being progressive and innovative, where do you see firearms training going over the next 5 to 10 years? What are the big changes you see on the horizon?
Sorry, are you asking?
Yeah, either one of you that want to go. I figured I would do, instead of putting one of you on the spot, just see who jumped in first.
So for me, like I see I'm already seeing it with with not only we have augmented reality, our traditional screen based simulators, which are more professional grade simulation. From TI to Milo, you're looking at $50,000 plus for a simulator. We're seeing the virtual reality, which is creating that entirely artificial, let's just call it artificial environment. And then slowly now we're starting to see the VR goggles becoming augmented reality, where we're actually seeing through the goggles and creating a virtual people within a real environment. And so that's huge. So we're seeing, from Milo to Operator XR, and this is not an exhaustive list, really pushing from screens to goggles, to VR goggles. And then we're seeing like Ace VR, Ace Virtual Shooting, which is a consumer-based product. They were here at the conference, and I have a great relationship with Connor, the CEO there, and we're really pushing those limits because, like, for example, we're seeing officers, and I'm starting to see other instructors adopt Ace VR, and their shooting skill sets are going through the roof. And so something that's about $800 at the most, and it's perpetual. Like right now, I've got like 60,000 rounds fired on my Ace VR approximately. I think that's what it is, maybe 30. I haven't spent a minute, but it's a huge amount of rounds fired in a completely virtual space that's completely safe. That's the future of firearms training. It will not replace uh, traditional live fire or scenario based training with simunitions and role playing, but it will supplant at a honestly approachable levels that have never been seen before.
Awesome. Thank you. Zach, what are your thoughts?
I agree with everything Josh said. I think that, for us, we use it for like with recruits. We spend less time on the range because we're able to supplement some of that training, just that basic firearms handling training with our systems. And I believe in training a lot, and also empowering the employee to take some ownership of their own training. And I think a lot of these systems that are coming on board will really allow us to do that even more.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think I heard you both say something along the lines of it is not the replacement, right? Because I think there's research out there that could show that there's potential for training scars if that is the only way we're training, but if mixed appropriately. And so as you kind of look towards the future, how do you see the challenges of agencies adapting these, or what are some of the barriers right now that you're seeing when you have conversations with your students in your classes? And Zach, where you're at, it seems like you've got the Deschutes is pretty progressive, and you've done some great stuff there. So maybe not so much for you, but as you talk to your colleagues, what are you seeing as some of the barriers to entry for folks adopting this? And we'll start with
what I see is cost. A lot of agencies are struggling just to hire people and provide them good equipment and benefits and resources. And unfortunately, I think sometimes training takes a back seat to some of those things. So I think it's cost.
One of the good things though is systems like ACE that Josh mentioned. You're talking about the cost of a pistol. But once again, that is only the shooter training side of things, but that Operator XR, Milo, some of those other systems that have the augmented reality are definitely going to cost more. This is a follow-up for you, Zach, because of where you were going with this. Do you think that there's room to maybe offset some of those costs by like a regional program, a regional cost sharing program, different agencies kind of getting together and sharing the expense? And do you think that that's maybe too hopeful, or do you think that that's workable?
Well, I know for some of our smaller, like far Eastern Oregon agencies. If you know, like when you buy some Milos or some of the other systems, you know, you have to have a dedicated space and everybody has to travel there. So I think that can be difficult, especially for the smaller agencies that only have, you know, maybe 10 deputies or 10 officers on duty, and getting them to those locations to do frequent training. But I think with ACE and things like that, I think it's absolutely doable. So they could share the equipment.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Hey, our own. I'm trying to find this article, but I can't find it. But Dwayne Wolf wrote an article. There was a Police One survey, or officer.com. I think it was Police One, about red dots, and something to the fact that the sites boost the accuracy, but the training is lagging in agencies. What are you finding? I'm one of those guys that have been shooting iron sights from way back to when I was in the Marine Corps back in 1987 until recently, and it's something I've struggled with. I've talked to Todd about it, and you know, I've got the optics, and it's. Well, what do you say to us old guys that are struggling with that, and how do we help change that mindset of agencies to get more training with those optics? Josh?
Oh, okay. It's me. All right. So, yeah, it's the biggest this barrier I'm seeing to kind of answer Todd's question, and Brian, you're bringing in pistol mounted optics into the game. It's really a cultural issue. That's what I'm seeing, and I because I'm now in public sector, and like when we did the panel interview, Todd, I was kind of the feral one out of the group, because I can kind of say what I want, when I want, how I want, because I'm not beholden to a chief. Now, my wife, as an HR department, is so much more hostile than any HR department you'll ever meet, because violence is real. But again, with the private sector, we can say certain things. So like I remember, Todd, you asked me, what do you do with somebody that doesn't want to innovate in your organization? And I wasn't being flippant, Todd. In the panel, I said terminate them. Like, plain and simple. Like, if you will not innovate in our organization, you get terminated. So with your answer your question, Brian, it's, you have to give them the opportunity. Like, and so I see a lot of police departments, they just give them the hardware, whether it's a older officer, a veteran officer, or a newer officer, and they don't provide the software to the hardware. And then they have this cognitive dissonance that, especially the veteran officers. Well, I've been shooting iron sights all these years, and I hate this red dot. I'm like, well, because you only gave it 50 rounds reps, and you have all these reps shooting iron sights. I don't think we should earn the right to shoot iron sights, because the red dot is here to stay. Bill Campbell, my mentor, says it the best. As an instructor, you either get on the red dot train or it runs you over. Plain and simple. Marcus Custer, who I teach with at the NRA Law Enforcement Division. So I work for the NRA Law Enforcement Division as well. He actually co-wrote Red Dot Mastery. Again, you have to learn how the advantages are there, the different focal planes, and there's a lot to it. To me, Red Dot Mastery is a mandatory read on that aspect to learn the advantages of it. But we're seeing, we're extending police officer. The big one is we're extending police officers' careers by decades. We all see these officers that have never had problems qualifying their entire career, right? And then they start seeing it. You start seeing a dip later in their career in their qual scores, because their arms are not long enough to find that front sight clear, right? They can't do it. Or they do the trifocal thing, and it looks like they're having, a stroke trying to find the front sight. That red dot removes all of that problem. So we're seeing extension of officers' careers, which the benefit to the agency is that tribal knowledge stays within the agency longer, because that officer is now sticking around, lack of better terms. And now the stress of our firearms instructor staff goes down, because now the person that was not a problem child is becoming a problem child, and we alleviated that with the red dot site. And then there's so many more benefits, but simply put is we have to show them. Seeing is believing in law enforcement. So for me, demoing in front of students, they don't believe what I can do or what we can teach until they actually see it.
Awesome, thanks, Zach. I'm just curious of what you have to say on that.
Here, we had some hesitancy amongst our more senior staff, but our red dot transition course is anywhere from 14 to 16 hours, depending upon how the class is, which is quite a bit of range time. But I think if you transition them appropriately and give them time on the gun, I haven't had one person turn that red dot back in. Even the ones that I had to beg them to come out to the range. It has taken our poor shooters or okay shooters and made them good, our good to great, and our great to exceptional. And it has really only made my job really easier. So I think it's here to stay, and it's definitely where we're headed. I think shooting iron sights is gone.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things is being able to stay target focused, having your eyes, just to Josh's point, corrected for one foveal focus distance. Your distant sight is a huge benefit, and because you're staying target focused or threat focused, you're not transitioning your eyes, your foveal focus from your eyes to the front sight, and kind of bouncing them back and forth, which gives you time to make better decisions. It opens up your field of view. You don't have a big gun with iron sights blocking everything in front of your face. There really is no downside other than cost and training time. Once you get beyond that, the advantages to our officers and their ability to make decisions is just really incalculable.
Yeah, I've seen our folks. Their threat assessment, their ability just to conduct a legitimate, timely threat assessment has gone up quite a bit as well.
Yeah. And kind of on that same topic, what are your guys' thoughts on LPVOs? Because I don't think red dots are the wave of the future. That is something that wave is already past. They're here. They're not going anywhere. I think that the next thing is, what do you see on the LPVO or low power variable optic front?
For me, what I'm seeing is the enhanced observation ability. Obviously, we had when I left the Chandler Police Department, they approved magnifiers, 3x magnifiers. I think they approved 6x magnifiers as well, but it had to be on that the rotation mount. So the enhanced observation is huge, because one thing that I teach, regardless of what I guess platform you're using, is distance favors the trained, right? So the further we can put that officer out, the survivability goes up significantly, and then we have those the survivability goes up, as well as more options that we have. So we have that enhanced observation, which we all know that if we can see better, we're going to make decisions better. So that's huge. A lot of them run an etched reticle, depending on the type of model that you have. So batteries are not as much of a concern, whether that red dot. I know that when we run aim points and stuff like that, they're running 4 or 5 years but that etched reticle is huge. And then you go into rural agencies where, like in North Dakota, we had a city, but those rural agencies, there's a possibility that you may take a longer shot. I have to remind my officers that I work with in the patrol rifle world. They're like, well, what's the likelihood of me taking 100-yard or 200-yard shot? I'm like, do you understand? Like, the longest shot in law enforcement history in the Phoenix metro areas is over 500 yards. And we're the 5th largest city in the United States. And it was off a mountaintop to a mountaintop. And that's a reality. So to have that enhanced observation, the enhanced, engagement envelope is absolutely huge. That's a no brainer. But it does come with training, just like anything else. It's not a simple bolt it on and then go aspect.
I think there's definitely a place for LPVOs in law enforcement. I think I agree with everything Josh said. We have to just keep in mind we're not training snipers, but the observation ability and the ability to plan and assess what's happening at a call greatly enhances with LPVOs and the ability to see a little bit further. The ASA, the American Sniper Association, I think their latest report, their sniper utilization report, said the average sniper shot since they've been keeping record is between 60 and 70 yards. And providing an LPVO to patrol deputies absolutely gives them not the ability to take a sniper shot, but the ability to engage at a much further distance, even in low light. Again, it takes extra training. You got to have a little bit more buy-in and a little more willingness to do some extra training, because it is quite a bit different than shooting a standard rifle optic. But I definitely think if you have the ability, learn how to teach LPVO training and start implementing that for sure.
Good.
Yeah, I'll go. I've got one actually. So I wasn't sure. I saw everybody kind of lean in. This is actually it's really fun having two guests here and kind of go in this direction. We haven't had a good firearms conversation in a while. So we've talked technology. We've talked about the VR, AR type stuff and where we see ourselves in 2030-ish. We've talked about the optics component of it and some of the challenges there. Let's talk about the decision making and the how are you seeing on the range getting away from that standard flat range, because I know there's still folks out there who are stuck on it. That's the way we're going to do it. That's the way we've always done it. It's logistically easier. How are you seeing the cultural shift happening, and what are you watching from where you are, and what makes it work? What are those the innovative firearms instructor at the department who still has this methodology being used? What are some of the ways you see kind of getting after some of the more dynamic and realistic type of firearms training?
Well, I think first, several of us say this, you can't be the prophet in your own land. You have to get out. You have to find those people that can help you reach your goals, right? Because everybody has something for you. Everybody can give something to you that will help you on your ranges. And how do we get there? You got to find some training that will help teach you how to do that and do it safely. And then just start slow and start easy on your staff. And slowly over time, you can turn some more of those decisions over to them. And I think that can be a slower process depending upon how many staff you have, but finding the people that can help you learn how to teach that or get involved in competitive shooting and find some mentors there, and even invite maybe some of those people out to your range and do instructor updates with them for half a day. You can pull off chunks of that at a time and without a big expense.
Awesome. And Josh, I want to hear what you have to say on this, but before we do, Zach, kind of sticking with something you just said, and I know I've heard Todd talk about it, getting into the competitive shooting space is one way of doing it, but you mentioned, how did you word it? Something along the lines of get people to come in and find training that can. And I think this is a great place, especially with ILEETA instructors being as curious as they are. How do we do that? So realistically, finding those instructors who can come in and either teach me how to do it or I go to where they are. And how do I kind of pierce the veil on that and look a little bit past where I've been looking in the past? What are your thoughts?
Start networking. I think that's the biggest thing. Start reaching out to combative firearms, start reaching out to the Guardian group, and tell them what your goals and your programs are, and talk to them and find out how they can help you achieve those goals. Or even go out to some of these competitive shooting matches, talk to the guys that have been doing this a while, and see if they can help develop you and take those things back to your range.
Thank you. And Josh, what are your thoughts? How do we break this seal and figure out the next steps moving forward?
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example just recently. So I'm at ILEETA in Houston teaching. Teaching a couple days for this week. But I was on a plane back from Huntsville, Alabama. I've been working with Huntsville Police Department for 3 years now, and shooting at speed efficiency mostly. But then I got a call from the range master saying, "Hey, we want a 2-day vehicle combatives instructor development course. We've learned a lot of from different modalities in different places." Vehicle combatives, shooting around vehicles, through vehicles. We want to do a real ballistics lab, shooting at a patrol car with different ammunition. So we had the learning about stuff, but then what the range master wanted me to do was really evaluate their instructors, mostly the adjuncts, because they have the full-time range staff, but then they have a bunch of adjuncts. So what we quickly realized was these adjuncts need more time on the flat range. Doing quals before they can kind of run, lack of better terms, into the more advanced tactics such as vehicle combatives or structure movement. They need to be, lack of better terms, they need to cut their teeth more as a basic police academy instructor and learn the ABCs, let's just call it that, of firearms instruction before they can really start doing, let's just call it calculus. So that was a huge eye-opening experience, and I got to say, how do I say this? Like to Zach's point, I got to say things to their instructors that otherwise their range staff couldn't say because you're too close. It's almost like teaching your spouse. You're too close. So bringing me in, coming in, helping them out, being very frank about it, and going asking them to do teach backs, and not doing well. Like they didn't fail. There's no pass or fail. It was an instructor development course, not an instructor certification course. But they quickly realized that their presentation skills, for the most part, was very lacking. They could shoot well, but they couldn't present well. And I had to really hit them hard in a professional manner, but firm, and going, guys, you're not up to snuff. Your vernacular is not correct. The way you explain that wasn't clear. And they're like, man, I didn't even realize that. It's like, oh yeah, the problem with guys like Todd Fletcher, like Bill Campbell, Luann Hamblin, like people like that, is they're so good at teaching, they make it so freaking easy looking. They make it so easy looking, and you're like, I got that. It's like I got it, and then you get up in the front of class, and you're like, and it's just like, how the heck do they do that? And the only way you're going to do that is doing it more and more. And doing that. So back to the whole point is, I came in, gave an honest assessment, and they realized, wow, we need to really rework our stuff. And the only way that you're going to get that is to bring combatives, firearms, and Guardian in. And it's not to replace your training organization whatsoever. I don't want their job, period. I don't want to be a training director of a police department. But if I can come in and help and maybe offer a different perspective, and then really get in and get out. On that end, that's what is really huge, and that breaks their lack of. I'm just going to call it for what it is: FUD lore, absolute FUD lore, the fuddiness. Right? Well, we've been doing this, for this amount of time, and who are you to come in and tell us what to do? I'm like, I'm not. Honestly, I don't care. I get paid to show up. Period. Like, if you don't want to adopt it, not my problem, right, Todd? I could be completely wrong, Todd. I'm completely off base, but that's kind of where we're at. And I'm
glad you both went to the space you did on that, because, sorry to interrupt you, Josh.
No, you're good.
Really, where I thought you were both going to go, and you did, is that you have to have that foundational level, which, Josh, you hit the nail on the head with that You've got to get the basics down. You've got to have a well-wired team, and then you've got to develop those skills to start moving in that progressive. I mean, Firearms is an example of this. As you start to move in a direction, I see a lot of hunger and desire to move quickly in a direction to become more dynamic, while forgetting the basics or moving too quickly or just skipping over the basics. And you both kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I think there is definitely a need for it. We're seeing it as we look at gap analysis across all of the profession. There's a need to move progressively, but there's a smart and safe and effective way to do it. And I think you both hit the nail on the head with that. Thank you very much for the way you did that.
Hey guys, this hour went super fast. We're at 55 minutes, but I want to get to our September legal powerful legal video here, and then we'll come back and for some last thoughts and comments.
This is actually relevant to what you were both just talking about in one way or another. I'll show you.
Here we go.
Dr. Green just did a 5-part series. If you guys aren't reading his visualexpert.com, I think it is, 5-part article series. And the example he uses is, why do officers shoot at cars that are coming towards them rather than diving off left and right? I want you to read it because he makes a very compelling case that it's a non-conscious, absolutely intuitive decision that might later not be rational in terms of self-preservation. But it is not clear to a person who a car is zooming towards with a looming effect, and Dr. Green will describe other effects that are psychologically taking place, that we can say, well, he could have just gone left or right. If you want to understand the reality of human performance and perception, the obviousness of safely moving left and right is not clear to the officer standing in front of that moving car. And so what do? They respond to a deadly threat the way they've been trained to respond to deadly threats, with no rational thought as to whether it's going to be effective or not. And we have case after case after case where we can point that out. And how do we as trainers look at it? We go, well, we just need better training. Sometimes training will not overcome system zero, non-conscious, intuitive responses, like why people will suddenly reach in and grapple with somebody who's starting to drive away with a car.
Well, even Kavanaugh, if I may, talks about this in his concurrence with the Barnes case about what are officers doing. And part of that is jumping on the hood of cars. We know they do it. We don't, we never train it. We would tell them not to do it. But here's the thing is that reasonable? Is that within a range of reasonable conduct? Well, from what I understand, the respondents in the Barnes case cited a study involving about 700 cases in which officers did that exact same thing. So, I mean, it's not some anomaly that never happens.
I think if the all the cave paintings from the Neanderthals had been saved through time, we might find a cave painting of someone clinging to the side of a woolly mammoth. I think it's that much of an instinctual response.
Yeah, so it definitely, there's so much of that. And I just want to plug it real quick. September 24th is the full show of that. And tomorrow an e-bulletin will go out. We'll announce it on social media as well. Get signed up for that legal update, because what Vaughn was talking about there, they go into so much more depth on human performance and the components of that and where we should be training in a variety of different perspectives. So yes, while they're talking largely about Barnes v. Felix and the legal update, it is equally about human performance and how we can effectively train in that space.
Awesome. Very good legal update. Hey, I just got a text from somebody that's not a member that's watching, and we have a variety of level of expertise. But the question that they asked, and we could go into this just briefly, but I want to ask Josh and Zach how you deal with this. When you get somebody coming to your agency that is transferring and feels that they are the know-it-all firearms guru, they're really good, how do you briefly just explain this to kind of answer this person's question. Hopefully, get him to be to join ILEETA and be a member. But how do you deal with that individual that appears to be a know-it-all and know more than the instructor? We've all had that, whether it's firearms or defensive tactics, rest control, driving. We've had that individual. But Josh, let's go with you first.
Well, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, one of my favorite hashtags on Instagram is "Run your gun, not your mouth." Right. So I'm about performance. So what I would do is simply, you know, get them on the range. Okay, you say you know, so then show me, right? And I know that it's giving them enough leash to either they can tie the leash around their body, and they can help themselves, and we can create a collaborative environment, or they can tie their leash around their neck and hang themselves. And I know that's it can be detrimental at times, but the problem is if you come at them with force and you try to play, you know, that game, in my experience, it just becomes an ego game, and it's no longer about facts. It's no longer about what's right. It's how I feel, and I'm not you know, giving them the due respect. So I'm just going to get them on the range and start talking about that, and you know. Like again, to my mentor's point, Bill Campbell, I teach principles, not techniques. So I'm just going to teach you a way, not the way. So if he has a point where it's like, okay, that's a viable thing. Now, when he's in the academy, I'm sorry, you don't have a choice. Like if you're a lateral, okay, we can talk about that and respect because I was a lateral. I was an out-of-state lateral. Now I knew my place when I came to Arizona was you know, the totem pole at the bottom, but they also showed a level of respect that's like Josh has a background in this, and they gave that due respect. So you know, the final word that I always say on the range, like even today I'd said that I have instructors from all across the world today that I taught, is I can correct behaviors, I can't correct attitudes, and it will reach a point where it's like this. All right, this is the highway. This is my way or the highway, because these are policies in place, but you have to speak in facts and not feelings. That's the key thing.
Thank you. Zach, real quick, your thoughts?
Well, before I get any laterals or anyone onto the range, I've spent a few weeks with them trying to develop a good relationship with them, and you know, and absolutely talking about checking our egos and being humble. And when I go to the range with them, again, just like Josh, we teach principles, and I let them, I give them some leeway on the range to show me what they can do, you know. And we really talk about, you can always learn something and you can always improve on something. And I also tell them, hey, I'm here to learn from you as well. And I think if you build the right relationships with people and you have the respect between you and them, that will go a long way on the range to getting past that ego driven person.
Love it. Build those relationships. Joe, last words, comments, questions?
No, nothing from me other than thank you both very much, gentlemen. This was a great conversation.
Todd?
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you guys too. I look forward to seeing you at ILEETA. I look forward to Josh seeing you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to shooting with both of you guys and seeing where you take law enforcement firearms training into the future. I think that you guys are going to be two of the beacons of law enforcement firearms training moving forward, and I'm excited to see where you guys take it.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all for being a part of this wonderful evening. And for all the ILEETA members out there, check your membership. Make sure that you are up to date. Make sure it's not expiring. And if you're about ready to expire, renew it. Contact Jenny. And if you are watching and you're not a member, contact one of us and let's get you you teaching at ILEETA 2026 and October 31st, right, Joe? October 31st deadline. Some people that are being procrastinators, so
I don't know any of those.
proposals in. So
Yeah, I can tell you there's at least one on this list actually. That has got their proposal in already. We're going to turn it over to Josh and Zach for. I know we're a little over, but any last words from them?
Josh?
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for the awesome opportunity. I want to say thank you to ILEETA, plain and simple, allowing me to I guess pontificate and spread the word of Guardian, and spread the word of what we believe in. That's first and foremost. The honor to present at your conference was amazing. You guys were first class the whole way. And if there's anything that anybody needs out there, this is all I do for a living. I absolutely love what I do. So if there's anything that anybody needs, questions, comments, concerns, hey, I need to talk to this guy. I'll do what I can. And so thanks, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Zach, last comment?
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for letting me share my perspective on what we're trying to do. And if you're not a member of ILEETA, you need to be. Just know that you're not alone. You're fighting the same fights as everybody else. You have the same challenges as everybody else. And I guarantee you, if you start connecting with people through organizations like ILEETA, that you will meet somebody who has faced those challenges and can help you through them.
100%.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next month. Have a good night.
Good night.
Take care.